Hi, I'm Irie. Welcome back to my channel. I will be doing a story time about how this girl who I was supposed to be friends with wanted to fight me over a project. So let's get started. So a little background for the story. I've known this girl since 8th grade. So she had a lot of friends. I was one of them until she started having like an attitude towards everybody and being really hateful and rude and just, in general. So everybody's like, you would have an attitude like this. We're not gonna be friends with someone like that. Of course. So she likes to have an attitude. So the story is kind of like how she has an attitude, wanting to fight me and stuff like that. Yeah. So we're in history class. So with our history class, we have this project that we have to do, and it takes 2 people to do it because it's a book that we're creating at this time. This happened in 2017. So we basically had to make a book about, like, I can't even pronounce the names of these plays, but 5 Seconds of Summer has a song with this name. It starts with the B, and there was another place that was in with it. So we had this paper that told us exactly what we needed to do, like the questions and like directions, and yeah. So she was there for like the instructions, like, yeah, stuff like that. So she decided to leave after that. She was gone all the time. And she was gonna be there. It'd be like 30 minutes into class and then take her little Starbucks and her phone, her backpack, and leave. Like, she would walk out of the classroom and leave. It's like, okay, you're skipping. You're not sick. Because that was her excuse, because she came into the classroom fine. So one day, she walks up to me in the morning time and starts having this attitude and goes, "This project, we need to get it done." I'm like, "I know, ma'am. I know we have a project. I'm doing the research. You're having an attitude towards the person who does the research. Writing it down, making sure all the information that we have is correct. Because if it's not correct, our history teacher would have been like, okay, that information's wrong. Where did you get it?" Because we also had to cite things when we did the research. So write down where we got the information. We were not allowed to use Wikipedia because that stuff can be changed. And so she goes, "You're always gone." And I'm like, "No, that is you. You're always gone. And when you want to be here, it's for a short time." So I'm like, "I'm getting it all, okay? We're fine. Do your part, because it's a 50-50. Not a one-person type of project. You do your half, I'm doing mine. But it seems like you're not wanting to do your half, and I'm having to do it all." So she had to do, like, put the book together, write stuff in the book, and do the drawings. That was her half. That was part of the project. I done my half. Research, write it down, tell her exactly what the information is so she could write it down. And then we present it by taking turns, reading it and showing pictures. Simple, easy, okay? We got to choose like what day we wanted to present it, if we were ready or not. So, fast forward to her first hour, the class that I'm a teacher's aide for. I had this class when I was a junior for psychology. So I'm not sure what class this was, but I was an aide for the teacher. And aides are, okay, seniors are the only ones who could have this deal for being an aide for a teacher. Like, you could be a library aide, a teacher's aide, which I was, an office aide, and you run errands for the teachers. You can also use that time to, like, get your other work done for other classes. So, bell rings after she walks away, after screaming at me with this little attitude she has going on. And so we walk into the classroom, which is on the second floor. Both of these classes were on the second floor. And I barely like sit down and take out the information and stuff to look it over, make sure I have the questions and stuff answered with this information, and do more research when we get into the class, because we're not exactly ready and prepared to present it just yet, because she isn't doing her half, I'm doing mine, checking stuff off. And so she comes up to me again with the same attitude and goes, "The project." I'm like, okay, take your little Starbucks little attitude and your little, I don't know what kind of piece of clothing you have wadded up to make this attitude. Unless you're having a bad day, then okay, I understand. But she, like, has this complete attitude again. Starts screaming at me in front of her classmates. I'm like, I get it. You're worried about the project. We could talk about this privately, not in front of a whole entire class, including the teacher that was sitting exactly right there when she was doing this, because everybody else was entering. There was at least 34 kids in the class. I'm the aide for that. So, and the students cannot be talking to the aides in some sort of way, like a disrespectful attitude way. They can ask me for help on something, because I was also able to help them, but she wanted to have this attitude over a project that we had the next class for with each other, that we were partners on. And I'm like, I'm getting, okay, chill, relax, drop the attitude, and let me do my thing. So when the second bell rung to let everybody know that the classes are ready to start, so she goes to her desk. Oh, it's fine, I'm doing my work, I'm doing what I need. And then I had to go and do an errand for the teacher. I had to go and have some stuff like printed for him. Like, he's printing things and I had to go and pick it up from the office. And he also asked me, like, to watch the class while he was out in the classroom for a little bit. I done my job. And she's glaring at me halfway across the classroom. And I'm like, Chica, can you drop the attitude? Like, what's the problem? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed or something? So fast forward, the class ends, we go to Encore, aka study hall. With this, you can like find out, so what you do is you go to your homeroom, find out from your teacher if you can also see if you're assigned somewhere with one of your other classes through your phone. But I didn't know how to enter mine exactly just yet. I'm still figuring it out. even though we were like a month and a half into the new school year in 2017 for our senior year. So my teacher goes, okay, you are like with your history teacher because he needs the project and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm going. So I had to go upstairs to the second floor. And when I walked into his classroom, there she was assigned in there too. Because the next hour after Encore is our second hour class, which we have him that hour at the time. And well, he asked me why I was gone. So the first few days that I was gone for that week was because I had injured my arm with this door right here, and I had to take pain medicine and nausea medicine to keep myself from being sick to the stomach and take away the pain, because my arm had like bruised on the inside just by opening this door right here. And so I was explaining to him, and he goes, oh, okay, gotcha, understandable, glad you're here. And do you two want to go to the computer lab, which was down the hall? I'm like, yeah, sure. Because there are 3 floors to the high school. You have a computer lab on the first floor. You have a computer lab on the second floor, which was also a classroom. And then 3rd floor, you have a computer lab there too. So you don't have to go from 3rd or 2nd floor to the 1st floor to go to the only computer lab, because there are several. So he grabs his keys and we follow him down the hallway from the classroom to the computer lab on the 2nd floor. And we sit down, he lets us in, we log in. I'm in the middle of logging into my login stuff to finish the research and write it down, give it to her so she can write it into the book if she has it already made. And she gets this attitude one more time with me and threatens to fight me. And I'm sitting there like, okay, look, here's something you need to understand. At the time, I did not have a computer, I did not have a printer or internet here at my house to do the research stuff. And I was trying to kindly and calmly, no tone in my voice of raising my voice so anyone out in the hallway or anyone else in the room could hear. And I'm like explaining to her exactly that, and she goes, well, I'm gonna fight you. I'm like, I don't want a fight, and I do not want to fight you. I don't know why you're mad, but what you're doing is wrong, and I'm going to go and tell the teacher and explain to him what's happening so he can help us out with the situation. She goes, tell him what? And I'm like, this right here, exactly this. I'm going to explain to him that I don't have a computer, laptop, well, a computer, printer, and internet at my house, and this is the only time that I could like do the research. All right? So just drop the attitude. That's all I ask. And be nice to me instead of threatening to fight me and be explosive today. And she starts making me cry. So I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I'm already logged into my account on the computer to do the research. So I go down, well, I asked the aide that was in the room, and I'm like, is Mr., I'm not gonna say our history teacher's name at this time. And he goes, yeah, he's there. And I'm like, okay. So I told him I'd be right back, and I walked all the way down the hallway again to the classroom, and I'm like, hey, Mr., our history teacher's name, and I said, can I talk to you? He goes, yeah, sure, what's wrong? What's up? I said the girl's name. I explained to him that she's threatening to fight me because I don't have a computer, internet, or a printer at my house, and this is the only time I could do the research for the project. And he goes, I'll talk to her. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be possible because she's having an attitude. And I'm crying at this point. 5 minutes later, here she comes down into the classroom and started lying straight to his face, and I was saying this stuff which were lies, and he looks at her and goes, okay, I need you to understand something. She was trying to explain to you, which this is understandable. She doesn't have a computer, internet, or a printer at home, so she has to do it here. And she's like, well, she could go to the public library. Yeah, no, I can't. My mom works nights, so she was asleep at the time. She also has to pay bills during the day, so she has to, like, yeah. So my teacher is trying to help me explain to this girl that the issue is not really an issue. He didn't have an issue with me doing it only at school because of the computer, internet, and printer deal. But this girl had an issue, and she's like, well, she's always gone. And I'm sitting there like, no, he can show you the roster, which they use to call your name to see if you're there or not. And he goes, yeah, no, she's here all the time. And she goes, well, I'm sorry. And he looks at me and goes, do you forgive her? I look at her and look right back at him, and I'm like, no, I don't think I can forgive her after having her threatening to fight me. And he goes, well, you're gonna have to at some point. I'm like, I faked this apology. I did not mean it. But I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I will forgive you, even though I'm not wanting to give a second chance to this girl after her doing that to me 3 times all morning long. So the bell rings from Encore, and we have our second hour class, which is the history class that we have for this project. I don't know what I did to this girl, but yeah, that's how this girl wanted to fight me. But we did eventually get the project done, and we presented it. And I never spoke to her again. I was done. So yeah, until next time, this is, yeah. Bye.